Electric cars, driverless cars, advanced night sensors, ride-sharing apps, they are all pegged as the future of the industry, and Israel is aiming to be at the top of the field, already pulling in a record $19 billion in investments and exits just this year. So here to look a little bit closer at where it is going, our economy correspondent, Asher Westrop Evans, along with Dr. Ofer David, CEO of Brightway Vision, one of those companies leading Israel's auto tech. Thank you both very much for being here. Before we get into Israel and why $19 billion came in just this year, in the bigger global picture, this is an industry, a storied industry that is going through a major, major change now.
Look, that's exactly right, Nurit. And Goldman Sachs last year put out latest figures saying that this industry that was worth $3 billion in 2015 is looking to be worth $96 billion by 2025 and even $290 billion by 2035. This is an innovative and growing industry, and we're seeing the major players shift. Whereas once upon a time, GM, Ford, Hyundai, these were the big players in the auto industry. Now we're seeing Intel, Uber, these new industry players coming in and effectively changing the game.
And Ofer, let's talk about what your company is doing and how, it's one of the interesting things, right? It developed out of really military technology originally.
The origin is from a defense company, but the idea is actually novel. It's a new idea.
Okay.
It's using a sort of a background we had in night vision. That's where we started from. But then we've established some new features that we are using today for even daytime operation.
So as we're looking at this video, sort of example of how this technology works, explains what this changes for drivers, why this is helping take the auto industry potentially into a new kind of generation.
Okay, what's going to happen now in the coming years, we'll see more and more cars driving themselves. Right, and we will enjoy safer driving and more relaxed driving. And what we are doing actually is providing the automotive industry with sensors that are able to image at harsh weather conditions at night and improve detection systems. So actually this is what the BWV is doing. We are coming in a corner in a jigsaw puzzle that is not solved completely yet, and we are bringing one of the pieces that is missing. It's harsh weather conditions.
We're seeing some examples. We were just looking at some examples. You actually have a monitor in your car. This is what we're looking at now, yes? And it gives you this almost, not infrared vision, but almost this sort of night vision that you can see under normal circumstances, which you couldn't.
Yeah, I will address the monitor issue. Actually, we're not targeting a monitor. Monitoring is something temporarily.
Okay.
It's only in the coming years we'll have a monitor when there is a driver who is driving the car. Eventually a computer will drive you around, not a human being, so you don't need a monitor.
Right, drivers themselves will become entirely
So what you see actually in our system is the input to a computer. There are 6 categories for autonomous cars. They are divided in 6 categories. What you are driving today has no ADAS or advanced driver assistance systems, as it's called. It's category 0, and you have category 5. This is a fully autonomous car, no brakes, no steering wheel.
I want to ask you about sensors, though, and we're talking about autonomous cars, because clearly when we're looking at the shift in the auto industry, that is #1 that we keep hearing everybody talk about. Sensors, can they really replicate drivers? You say that the car will be much smarter than the driver, will drive better than the driver. Can technology replicate human instinct to see the driver next door or whatever the danger might be?
Eventually, yes, but until we get there, there are certain steps we have to follow. There will also be a lot of redundancy. Like in the aviation industry, when you go on a jet, there is a lot of redundancy in the sensor part. Now, talking about autonomous cars, I think that we'll have a big step in category 4. Category 4 means that you can drive autonomously in certain regions, and in other regions, the car, and you'll know it in advance, the car will ask you to take control. So you'll still be driving part-time. Category 5 is the one that you're saying that it will be completely autonomous, and for that is a little bit further away. I think the category 4 will come much faster.
Actually, just a few weeks ago, Prime Minister Netanyahu gave a speech where he said, though Israel failed in its initial attempts to create an auto industry, to manufacture cars that were fiberglass disasters, frankly, Israel now is becoming, in the auto tech industry, a leader in that. Was he exaggerating? Is the potential there?
Look, Kalev, the potential is definitely there, and as you said, you're exactly right. You know, back in the 1950s and 60s, Israeli auto tech was a joke. It was an oxymoron to even suggest such an idea. But today we're seeing major acquisitions taking place. Waze was able to buy Google for $966 million in 2013.
Google was able to buy Waze.
Google buying Waze.
I don't think there's any company on earth that can buy Google these days, or Nation for that matter.
And then more recently in 2017, we saw a massive jump in the market where Intel was able to buy Mobileye for over $15 billion. I mean, this is a growing industry.
So